Being the only black kid in class was horrifying. It was a lot of microaggressions that kept building on top of one another. It started just out of nowhere, these terrible, terrible panic attacks. And I didn't know what to do with these. I didn't understand why they were happening or how to cope with them. I was 10 years old, and the kid just looked at me and just was like, "Hey, it's tick." And I stopped. I said, "What? What did you just say?" My parents never had to sit down and talk with me about race, and they certainly never had to sit down and talk with me about mental health. It made me feel very defeated. Once I got to high school, I noticed a lot of white people saying this back. It really would take off whenever you would confront a white person about it. It was met with something super, super defensive. It was this weird thing of walking on eggshells. I felt that overwhelming sadness and isolation. It was often told to me that, "Oh, you're not really black." Well, if you don't think I'm black, then what am I? If anything, it increased my anxiety within myself. I did an interview for the high school newspaper about race. I had this teacher looked at me like dead serious and was like, "I think you need to be very careful with what you say around this school." And it like broke my heart. That anxiety within myself just kept building, manifested itself physically I started just out of nowhere having these terrible, terrible panic attacks almost daily, and I didn't know what to do with these. I didn't understand why they were happening or how to cope with them. It was getting to a point where I did not want to go to school. I felt uncomfortable being at school. My mom took me to therapy. That therapist, after speaking with me, she's like, "Okay, this environment is not suitable for you. You feel singled out because of who you are." She made the suggestion, "You need to get out of there." I was since then diagnosed with clinical anxiety and clinical depression. That last day of school, I was just so relieved to be done. I didn't want to walk with the people who told me go back to Africa. Sure enough, the moment I was out of that environment, my panic attacks became less and less and less. My experience in college, it was a 180. There were so many black spaces. That anxiety of being the only black kid in a room, it didn't exist. And my confidence then went up about 3 notches. I'm not just pretty for a black girl, I'm pretty. So the coping mechanisms that I still use to this day when I know I'm in a situation where it's triggering my anxiety, I simply gather my things and I leave. I'm still dealing with those long-term effects. And even outside of my anxiety and my depression, that dysmorphia within myself, if I could go back in time to that little black girl, I'd give her the biggest hug and let her know that she is going to be okay. I am seen. Are you?